σεισμός όλη την ώρα κάθε 5 λεπτά.
Hey guys, quite a controversy in Greece with an escalating earthquake swarm that has lasted for days now. I think we're approaching like close to 300 earthquakes in the last 3 days, and they're big. Now they're in the magnitude 5 range, and they kept coming. It's basically a continuous rattling, like 3.9, 3.8, 4.9, 4.8, 4.5, 5.1. It's crazy. They keep coming. It's really a cluster swarm. Authorities, they have raised the alarm. They said this could be a foreshock for a bigger earthquake. There was an earthquake in 1956, a 7.1 earthquake that rattled Santorini, the #1 tourist hotspot of Greece, with 3.5 million tourists that are coming there per year. And it has created a huge mess, a tsunami, and also a small eruption. I mean, Santorini is a caldera, that's a volcano. But here comes the but. The epicenter of the current earthquake swarm is not underneath the magma chamber of Santorini. It is a little bit further, roughly 4 miles, 7 kilometers away from Santorini, right on top of a underwater volcano that is called Columbo. And look at that map, guys. It's such a cluster over that volcano, and the authorities are still saying that they think these earthquakes are not volcanic, they are tectonic. If they were tectonic, wouldn't the earthquakes be a little bit more spread out and not like, here's Columbo and ding, 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 ding. Here we have all these earthquakes. Come on, guys. I don't know. I don't want to say that, it's just my personal opinion, but we know it's a hot spot for tourism, one of the most important thing for tourism. So if you say there's a volcano that could blow, not so good, right? But I really think something's going on there because Columbo was in the news. I have reported about this last December, and I told you that I think that there's something in the works. They have discovered, they call it a surprise magma chamber underneath Columbo at a shallow depth of between like 2 to 4 kilometers only below the seabed. And that magma chamber is growing rapidly. And they were very surprised to find it like that. They were using a new method to find it, to even see that it's there. And they think that it has reached about the same fill amount that it had when the last eruption at Columbo was triggered. So now tell me, we know that there is this magma chamber, and now we see these earthquakes that keep going. They just do not stop. That is suspicious, guys. So here is my report. While people are fleeing the islands, not only Santorini, the neighboring islands as well, you see pictures how they're going into the ferries. People are very worried. They slept in their cars. They left their homes at night, because it's constantly shaking. It's not stopping. Of course, schools remained shut. Then they scheduled additional flights. So not only the ferries to help people leave the island of Santorini today, because already today dozens of tremors shook that popular holiday destination. That's day 4 where this is that bad. And also they have scheduled additional planes to really help this, mostly with Aegean Airlines. So they are operating 3 additional flights to and from Santorini Monday and Tuesday to facilitate the travel of residents and visitors upon request by the Greek Civil Protection Ministry. So you've seen it in the video behind me. There's hundreds and hundreds of people, lots of people. Santorini has about 20,000 people as residents, but as I said, 3.5 million people visit this island per year, and we're rapidly approaching tourist season on this island. So this is bad news. This costs them money. They're worried that they might lose bookings. But, they're talking about the earthquake risk right now. They say it's tectonic, but they're worried that they might see a magnitude 7.5 again. But as I said, we're looking at the University of Athens live earthquake list, and you see the cluster over Columbo. So a recent paper that has been released by the Journal of Geochemistry, Geophysics, Geosystems by a team of scientists that was also working together with the Department of Earth Sciences at Imperial College London, and that paper basically identified that magma chamber of Columbo at a depth of 2 to 4 kilometers below the seafloor, because they were conducting this research for the first time with seismic waves and new generation tomographic methods. So they created artificial seismic waves to see how they go through this volcano. So that's how they discovered the magma chamber, because the waves behave differently. And interesting is the shape of that magma chamber underneath Columbo. It has the shape of a mushroom. It's thinner at the base and it's wider at the top. What does that tell us? It's thinner at the base. Magma's coming up and then it's collecting in that mushroom part close to the surface, to the seafloor. It's not the surface, but it will erupt from the seafloor. And now we have that earthquake swarm. I have to say it again. And scientists believe that this magma chamber that they discovered here might be the key to understanding another intense seismic activity that they have seen in 2006 to 2007, and then another one in 2011 and 2012 in this region. This is the Hellenic volcanic arc with several volcanoes. So these scientists think, okay, that volcano, that magma chamber, magma's filling up, it's stretching the crust, it's breaking the rocks, that's causing the rattling. And if there's an intense earthquake swarm at a volcano, usually that means magma's on the move or about to be on the move. So they think the shakings back at 2007 and 12 were volcanic. And now these are not, although they're right on top of it. I am having problems to believe that, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let's discuss this. So these scientists are also saying that it seems that the earthquakes appear to be related to increasing amounts of magma rising from greater depth towards the chamber. And they just said last year, it's rapidly growing and it's a large magma chamber. But we read in the news, Santorini's earthquakes are intensifying as a rare earthquake swarm continues to rattle the island. The earthquakes are probably caused by faults rather than volcanic activity. How can they say that? How can they know that? I don't know. They say, oh, it's likely it won't trigger a volcano. Really? I mean, one thing is clear. They say it's not the Santorini caldera. Santorini sits very exposed as a part of a largely, mostly underwater volcano that is called the Santorini caldera. And the form of this island, and what you see there is basically the tips of that caldera. That's what's sticking out of the water. Of course, these earthquakes are not driven by volcanic activity underneath Santorini if you look at the epicenters. But there's our guy, Columbo. Scientists are noting these earthquakes are unusual. It's not like if you have some tectonic earthquakes, like there's a series of fault lines there or zones where two blocks of rock move or slip against each other. Yeah, that creates earthquakes and the residents are used to these earthquakes, but at least they're admitting these earthquakes are unusual. And scientists are saying the problem with this event that we're seeing right now is that we've just seen earthquake after earthquake after earthquake. It just doesn't stop. That's very, very unusual. Usually, if it's tectonic, tension builds up, the earthquake comes, the tension releases, then we see aftershocks. Yeah, there can be shocks that are building up to a bigger one, but like that, for me, that looks volcanic, guys. I will not change my mind. I really hope that I am wrong and we will not see any volcanic eruption. It could also just be a magma intrusion, so that magma chamber is sending magma out. It's not reaching the surface of the seafloor yet, but it's still rumbling. But if that rumbling continues and the earthquakes get bigger and bigger, that means it's not stopping yet, it's still moving. So while I'm speaking, we just had another 4.8 just in the last few minutes. 3.4, 4.8, 1.7, 4.0, 3.5, 3.3, stuff like this. So it keeps coming. It's not slowing down, neither in intensity nor in magnitude. Yeah, we know this area, the Aegean Sea, sits on a small plate of crust, and it's stretching because the nearby African plate slides beneath the Eurasian plate. And then that stretching in the crust creates stresses that move the faults that are driving the earthquakes. But again, look at these epicenters. Columbo, doing, 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 doing. I don't believe this is tectonic. So for many scientists and for many people that are involved with this, they say, at least they have to say, the origin of these quakes is still unclear. And many are saying what I am saying, they may be the result of a magmatic vein intrusion that's coming from Columbus, or that is caused by magma rising up. Sure, Columbo is located at the southwest end of a rift zone with several significant faults, but sure, we could say there could be tectonic earthquakes, but the quakes are not located exactly on a fault zone. They're on top of Columbo. And the quakes are also rather in between these fault zones also. So we could have a similar situation that we're seeing in Ethiopia right now with the Dauphin volcano and the Fentale volcano. There's also tectonic movements. There's lots of fault lines. So it could be that the magma that is moving underground, magma is always looking for the way of least resistance. If that magma chamber is filling up, there might be little veins coming out trying to get somewhere else. And that could activate the close by fault lines, of course, and it could cause tremors. But still, the origin is magmatic. It means magma's on the move, leading up to this increased rifting. So whatever this is, if the scientists are saying it's just rifting or just fault lines, they're not saying what's the underlying cause. So the quakes are caused by magma on the move, grinding through the rocks, magma rising up, or magma intruding in nearby areas from the magma chamber, or magma rising up, being filled up from a deeper magma reservoir into this shallow magma reservoir. And also that movement, if magma's grinding through rocks, that triggers earthquakes and it creates a stress. If a magma chamber is filling up, the land is rising and that puts stress on the surface that could be transported to the fault zones, also putting stress on those. And the fact that this is volcanic magmatic, in my opinion, does not rule out that we could see a stronger earthquake. Don't get me wrong, guys. But it's usually reversed. Strong earthquake first and then all these aftershocks. If it's like getting stronger and stronger and stronger, that is like something's about to burst. We've seen this in Iceland before a volcanic eruption starts. We see it rumbling in Campi Flegrei. Hopefully we won't see an eruption there, but they should be very, very cautious what they say. I mean, getting people off the islands, closing the schools and doing what they're doing is the right way to do. But, you know, I think the damage is already done to their tourism industry because this looks like it's lasting for a while. I mean, if it's just an intrusion, maybe it suddenly stops. But it's certainly concerning, guys. We have to keep an eye on this because this is not normal. This is escalating. So something bigger is happening there, in my opinion. So subscribe to my channel for more because I am on the pulse for you guys. And if you want to support the channel, go to my buymeacoffee.com site/silky. You can buy me a coffee or two, or just follow me there for free. I'm posting stuff. I'll send you an email if there's a significant volcanic eruption. And thank you for your supers that you're sending me here on YouTube, and all the coffees and your wonderful comments. I hope you're safe where you are, and be prepared for whatever disaster might hit you in your area, guys. So I hope to see you soon. Check out the end screen, because the interesting part is I have reported about this underwater Volcano Kolumbo a while ago, and there's more detailed information what this magma chamber is. So check out the links in the end screen. I see you very soon. Bye bye.